All right, everybody, welcome to Teaching Crypto, very special edition. Hit that like, subscribe, bell notification, super chats in the store are available. Help us share and get the show to 2,000 subs. This is a special week because this is the week that Bitcoin, most likely, Mr. FOMO, will get to its new all-time high as we're getting closer and closer to the halving. And we'll show you guys that in just a little bit. My prediction here is in the next 5 to 10 days, this is nothing dramatic. We're definitely going to see a 70K Bitcoin. The question is, do we see a 75K Bitcoin in the next 5 to 10 days? I am very bullish right now. And because the halving is getting so close, Mr. FOMO, I do not see a 30% pullback like some warn right now. I see it much further down the line a couple months from now.
A significant pullback. Did you say 30%?
Well, that happens in some bull runs for our new.
I just don't see that happening right now. There's too much happening in the market. There's too much excitement going on, and retail hasn't even come in yet, really. And so I don't see a huge pullback. It's certainly not 30%. What I could see is this week, as retail starts to come in, as the price is coming up, I could see a small pullback as people go, or as people take profits, because as CoinDesk is reporting this morning, and I'm going to go ahead and I'll share this real quick over top of yours. CoinDesk is reporting that 97% of all Bitcoin addresses are in profits. So congratulations to all of you out there who hold Bitcoin. And I hope that's all of you that are watching the show. But 90%, 97%, that puts a lot of us that were in trouble with FTX, Celsius, and Voyager. That's putting a lot of us on the road to recovery. So that's definitely good news. But I could definitely see with this kind of news hitting, with 97% of the people being in profits, I could definitely see a little bit of a sell-off coming maybe this week or next week.
Well, when you say a little bit, you're talking about what happened last week going 64 to 60. You could see us hit 70 and get rejected the first couple times and maybe bounce back to 67, 66, or 68. But I don't think these are permanent pullbacks. If you're waiting for a longer pullback, I think you're going to be waiting a few months until the ETF narrative is killed and we get much closer to the halving than 46 days. I think here we're in for a run. And what I'm really excited about is I do still think the alts will run in March. Hasn't happened yet. It's the 4th. Well, some of them have. I take that back. Some of them have done. Meme coins have done very well. But the projects we've mostly talked about, I think it's coming. Jasmy is picked up over the last 24 hours, and so has VeChain here. It was just within the couple hours before we went on
HBAR as well.
Yeah, HBAR, a lot of the stuff we've talked about. But I really do think those are going to pick up steam once Bitcoin kind of settles well above its all-time high. And that it would not shock me at all if it came within the next 48 to 72 hours, to be honest with you, 70K.
I mean,
5 days is, I'm being conservative here, saying it might take 5 days to get to 70K. Probably not.
Well, I mean, just where we are right now, if you think about it, the people who FOMO'd in at the top of the last bull run, if they didn't sell out, those people are now paying, like that bet is now paying off. So everybody that called them stupid or called them whatever, or however they felt about themselves for buying at the top last time, that's all being erased now. And so that's the magic of the Bitcoin halving event and the cycle of Bitcoin, is that it will eventually come back around and reward you for your purchase, no matter when you purchased it. But it does show that timing is everything, like you always say.
I just want to say 30% may not happen. Not gospel, but Plan B came up with some new projections. He did remind people that during bull runs, a 25 to 30% pullback is not that uncommon to happen a few times during the bull run. And I do think we're going to get a correction. We talked about this a million times. Sometime in the May, June area, we've kind of focused on May, right when the ETF ETH kind of dies out and after the halving, but it could come right before the halving and it could come after. And that's why it's super important that you take profits along the way. Now, Bitcoin, if you have a target and you're waiting for Bitcoin to get over 100K, you're probably safe. But on the other alts, you just don't know. Now, Solana, the weekend train ride kind of came to a halt just for a little bit. I do expect things to pop back up, but you got to be ready to take profits. You saw Muse over the weekend take a gigantic jump twice and then just go back. Now, I like Muse a lot to get over 20 this month, but still, when you have a chance to take profits, whether it's 5 minutes, 20 minutes, or 20 days, you got to take advantage of it because these profits will not be there forever. Now, if you plan to hold Bitcoin for your entire life and you have it in cold storage, congratulations. But even then, there's going to be some times along the way where it might make sense to look at selling some.
You mentioned Muse, and it seems like there is a little bit of a play zone right now. I certainly think that this could be a project that gets way, way above 20. I don't see it staying there. But for right now, there seems to be a little bit of this play zone. It levels off around 13, mid 13s, around 1350, and then it'll pump over the course of an hour or so, all the way up to 15, and then drop right back down into the 13s. And so if you're watching the Muse charts, if you buy any Muse, and we've talked about it before, so it's certainly one that should be on your radar. But if you've bought any Muse and you're worried about when to take profits, at least over the last month or so, it has shown us that there is a little bit of a play zone between 13 and 15. And so if you wanted to use that as your,
Well,
guiding points, that would be a good way to go about it.
I'll disagree with you because we did see it go to 26 earlier this year. This year, end of last year, we saw it go to 26. I think Muse right now is shaking a lot of people out because it's just a low cap. So the all-time high was 125. This year it almost hit 24. I do disagree. I do think we see a $20 Muse before the Bitcoin halving. And so that's where I'm looking to take profits. But again, not financial advice. This, entertainment purposes only. So I'm more bullish on Muse than you are because of the low market cap. I do think eventually it will climb over 20 and spend a significant time over that 20 mark during this bull run. In fact, I still think Muse is going to get between 50 and 100 this bull run.
Yeah.
So
Remember I said during the last month. Remember I said during the last month it's had a play zone between about 13 and 15. And so that's
before the halving.
But as we get close to the halving, certainly I see it getting well over 20, is what I said. But it's one of those ones that I'm bullish on because it's one that I hold in my portfolio.
So really quickly, before we talk about Solana, if you pull back and zoom out, it was 382 earlier this year, right? So it has done it's not done like some of the others we've talked about, but it is up 127%. It has gone, even right now, staggering below 14. It started in the $3 range. So you have to take that into consideration. Even when we were talking about it, it was at 11 the first time I brought it up. And so, yes, it hasn't done amazing this month, but I'm still very kind of like Chainlink has just kind of staggered around 20. Everything has its time.
When we talked about Solana earlier this year, that's when I picked it up, and that was around the 30s. And I still haven't gotten rid of my Solana. I've taken a little bit of profits here and there, but I still haven't gotten rid of my Solana. I still hold a significant bag. It's one of my biggest holdings in my portfolio. Mm-hmm. And so, I still agree with your prediction of a 200 Solana sometime this year.
Not this year. Try this.
Okay.
Yeah, well, next 30 days.
I think it'll get there sometime this year, but certainly,
way too.
I certainly believe in Solana enough to buy it, but and I believe in it enough to hold on to it through this entire bull run. Like I said, I will be taking profits here and there, and probably in May I might pull everything off the table, mm-hmm. and we'll talk about that later. But for right now, Solana is one that I really like to hold on to.
Yeah, I'm more aggressive than you are. That's okay. I like the 200 in the next 4 weeks for sure. Forget about the year. For the year, you're probably looking at 300 to 400, right? Depending on how, when our next pullback, how do the alts pull back? before we left, I did just want to mention one more token. And, it's when we talked about it's when you buy something. Well, late last week, we talked about iOS and it being a really nice, and it just went up before the show. It was, oh no, here we go. Okay. That's what I thought. 27 cents. Okay. And you might say, well, that's still really high. It was 11 cents earlier this year. However, okay, it's not sometimes what you buy, but when you buy it. This token was just recently at 34 cents, Mr. FOMO. And so if it stays in this mid 20 area, let's say you can pick it up at 26 or 20, dare I say 25. I think you're going to be doing really well because the market cap is still 291 million and the all-time high was $2.67. So if you missed this one before, like we did, and you're looking to get into something before the halving, I would be careful the closer and closer we got to the halving. But Azios, I think, has a nice runway here, possibly to hit 40 cents before its next pullback. So, and you might catch it down a little bit. It might keep going down just to get to 25. But I looked at this one and caught my attention.
Yeah, and you also mentioned another one, and I swore I was certain that you were going to talk about it, so I had it up, and it's 0x0 or 0 times 0 AI.
Absolutely. Why don't you share that one?
And so I'm going to go ahead and share that on the screen here. I'm going to kick yours. Let's go ahead and get that up there. And so this is another AI play, but it's interesting because it's an AI token that claims to be able to knock out problems with smart contracts. It says it's eventually going to be able to read rug pulls and help keep you away from rug pulls. And so I'm interested to see where this goes. My only problem with this one is that, and I'll stop sharing this and we'll go into something. Let me show you their website here. And now, the only problem is when I went to click on the white paper earlier, I could not get to the white paper. And so that for me is a red flag. It may be something that is a quick fix on their end, but when I can't get to your white paper from your website, there's a big problem because that's the first thing I'm going to look at. But it's one that we have our eye on because it's an AI play and it's fairly new to the market. But I'm already starting to see a few red flags with this. One being,
you got to be careful. You got to be careful.
So until they fix that, make sure that you are just keeping an eye on this, because when they can't get you to their white paper, that means that there's something wrong or that there maybe isn't a white paper.
Let's be honest. You're picking these up for the short term, right? This is not an ETH. This is not even a Solana where you feel confident that it's going to be around 12 months from now. So
this is a day trade or a swing trade. This is one
that could literally go from 27 cents to $1 very fast because of such a low market cap, and it is up 17,000%. And it is an AI play, and so it's just one we wanted to make our viewers aware of. The market cap's gone all the way up to 241, which is low, but where it started, it's crazy. The right now 87% of the supply is 869 million tokens. Not bad tokenomics. As of yesterday, the volume was 2.5 million. So this is one I would also. But again,
the volume is up 50%, but the price is down. So maybe on a swing trade or a day trade, this might be a good one to look at as that volume keeps kicking up and the price keeps going down.
But just be careful because this one could be very volatile, like you said, very volatile. Well, Mr. FOMO, I really do think we could see a 70K Bitcoin this week. We're going to be here live covering it. Dare I say 75, not completely off the table for this week, although I think that comes a little bit later. But again, it's looking like when we get to the halving, we're going to be well above all-time highs, and that's very, very bullish. I still maintain 90K minimum this fall, and I'm almost trying to think about maybe stretching that up a bit to 95 or 105 for this year. We'll wait and see what the next week holds. For Mr. FOMO, this is AZcrypto. Please help us any way you can by hitting that subscribe button. Have a great day, everybody.
See ya.